Hello, everybody. As always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am Coach Paul, and this is Ola Prime's Market News Update. To start, we had a mix of international economic data releases this evening. Japanese PPI year over year data came out this evening at plus 2.6%, slightly above forecasts of 2.5%. And PPI month over month data was in line at 0.2%. The yen gained against the dollar slightly today, trading up about 0.16%. The pair is currently trading at 147.76 yen to the dollar. South Korea's unemployment rate came in this evening at 2.5%, a decline from the previous 2.6% reading. And New Zealand electronic card retail sales data declined to 2.2% in July from the previous reading of 0.5%, while the year-over-year figure was up 1.7% in July from its previous figure of negative 0.4%. The US dollar showed some weakness amongst the major currency pairs today, while the US equities rallied to the upside. The Nasdaq gained 1.3%, and both the Dow Jones and S&P 500 gained about 1.1%. The Nasdaq decisively broke its all-time highs, while the S&P 500 has slightly ticked above its own all-time highs. The Euro USD had a nice rebound off of the 50-period EMA on the daily chart today, gaining roughly 0.5% on some strong volume. The pair is trying to break out of its small downtrend over the past month and a half, but still is in a longer-term uptrend looking back to the beginning of 2025. Next level of resistance on the daily chart looks to be about 1.1726, or the high made from about 4 sessions ago, and actually was retested today. The CAD USD traders played a little bit of a push and pull game today, but ultimately settled at a small gain of less than 0.1%. And the pair is currently trading at 0.7272 as of this writing. GBP USD broke out to the upside of its small consolidation range of the past couple days, notching a 0.5% gain and piercing through the 1.35 level. As of now, the pair is trading at 1.3504. The Swiss franc rebounded nicely, up 0.64% today, and is currently trading at 1.2448. Last but not least, the New Zealand dollar had a gain against the US dollar of about 0.35% and is trading at 0.5963 as of this writing. Gold futures held their ground slightly in today's session, gaining $7 per troy ounce and closing just below the $3,400 level. Silver futures showed a little bit more strength, gaining 30 cents per troy ounce today and closing at $37.915 today. Bitcoin futures rallied their second straight day, closing at $120,700 on the day and currently trading at about $120,600 as of this writing. To quickly touch on some others, Ethereum currently sits at $4,600, Litecoin at $130.84, XRP at $3.26, and Solana at $191.61. WTI crude oil futures continued its downward trend, closing at $63.08 per barrel, losing about $1 per barrel. Note, tomorrow morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, we have crude oil inventories data coming out. So be wary, traders. And now, without further ado, it is time for our Quiet Markets live trading session with both myself and Coach Tiger. So let's get to trading. The one, the only, Coach Tiger. What is going on?
Coach P. Another day
What
in
is up?
paradise.
It
Yeah.
is, honestly. It was a beautiful day here in Florida. I mean, there could have been a little bit more clouds. I will say the sun is a bit piercing at times, but yeah, pretty
Yeah.
great day here. Trading was fun and nice. CPI day was very interesting. All the traders in the regular trading hour session had a good day, I think, today, or I believe for all of us we did. So, how about you
Nice.
guys? How about that early morning session? How was it? How was everything trading?
Oh, a lot of hurry up and wait military style for the CPI report. Had a lot of that. I
That's
think
true.
Coach Richard, Coach Michael, they both had some small wins on their end. I just didn't have anything trigger as far as my alerts go. But yeah, speaking of nice Florida weather, we got some 95 and 96-degree weather coming up here in Kansas the next few days.
Wow,
So yeah, it's going to be hot and
blistering.
sticky and crazy. It doesn't get as muggy as it does there in Florida, but it gets pretty close.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, that is blistering though. 95, 96, especially if there's like full sun on you, that's going to feel like it's going to easily feel above 100 for you if that's the case.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we get a lot of heat index readings at 100 or better when it's the 90s, 95s, and that kind of thing. Well,
yeah, man.
yeah, so CPI kind of had some mixed results. Um,
Yeah.
it's gotten to the point to where I'm starting to keep an eye on a few different economic calendars because like when you look at Forex Factory's economic calendar, they just show the core CPI and the CPI for the month over month, and then they show the year over year for the regular CPI. Well, it doesn't really give you the full picture because when you first look at it, CPI obviously was soft by 0.1%. So you'd have thought we'd have seen things like gold spike up a lot more than what they did, but you kind of have to get the full picture by going over to FX Street's economic calendar.
Mhm.
um, because over there they're showing the CPI, the core CPI, so minus food and energy for the year over year number. So just more than just the month over month, they show the year over year, and that one was actually hot, 3.1% as
Uh,
opposed to 3%. So I think that's why we kind of got a little bit of a whipsaw action up and down on the gold, but it didn't really trend in either direction, right? We'd have thought it would have been trending up, but I think that year over year core number kind of kept it suppressed in a little bit of a range, huh?
yeah, no, I will say I have to do a better job at. I agree with you, like keeping track of different data sources because especially with understanding the breakdown of CPI too, like seeing what
Mhm.
areas of the CPI, whether it's like housing or food or whatever, which ones are trending up and down. That part of it, I need to keep a closer eye on myself, I think, to make like a better just judgment of, how tipsy turvy certain parts of the economy could be and what we could kind of expect going or possibly expect going forward. Not that I'll be able to make any predictions, but being
Yeah.
mindful of it isn't always the worst. Isn't the worst thing to be. So, do you have
Yeah.
like the breakdown? Do you have much of the breakdown, like in terms of those like categories? Or okay, I see you've got some data up here, but
Yeah.
yes,
I'm just going to kind of compare and contrast a little bit because
okay,
this one on the bottom is from Forex Factory. Well, it just shows the core and the regular month over month and then the CPI year over year. But this one up here is the FX Street, and it's a little more in depth. So it actually shows the year over year number as well, which
yeah,
again was warm, and then the other one was cool. So that's something that just in case anybody watching wants to get a fuller picture, it's just nice to kind of compare a few different calendars. I mean, I've always historically used Forex Factory, but There's another really good one called Rebate King FX for an economic calendar. RebateKingFX.com. But then also obviously FX Street, which is the one on the top there. You just click on the economic calendar on FX Street. So yeah, I'm starting anymore just to kind of compare, 3 or 4 different sources. And even Coach James was chiming in on towards the end of our Forex Fire stream this morning. He had another source, and I can't remember it. I should have saved it, but it basically pulls these statistics straight from the BLS.gov site, the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So straight from the horse's
Okay.
mouth, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. That's nice.
it's just always good to kind of compare a few different sources just to make sure they're somewhat consistent, so that you can get the full picture and understand why price didn't do what you thought it was going to do. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's what I was wanting to show there. But yeah, I mean,
Awesome.
like I said, for gold, I mean, it just kind of spiked up, spiked down, spiked up, just going sideways right there on a 15-minute time frame. But
Hmm.
and then when you even go out to a higher time frames, well, it doesn't look like it did anything, right? 4-hour time frame here. So pretty
Yeah.
muted. Like you said last night, Paul, when in doubt, zoom out, right? I mean, look at that.
Yeah.
You can't even tell there was a CPI reading when you look at the daily time frame, or you know, barely even the 4-hour. I mean, obviously you got the wicks on either side and some fat doji candles there, but that's about it.
Yeah. And, it kind of makes sense because I took like one very small trade on gold this morning at like 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, right before the 12 p.m. session ended
Mm-hmm.
for us. And I just literally took a one micro lot because I was like, I don't like I was up $240 on the day at that point already, and I didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
really mess around with it too much. But I took a little stab at it long one micro to make like risked 30 to make 60 or something, and it was a loser. I ended up getting out of it for a loss at like $29 for a loss or something right before the session ended. It just like,
Mm-hmm.
I think people probably just got chopped up today a good bit. So as soon as I got it, I took that little loss. I was like, yeah, all right, yeah, I'm done trading this. This didn't look the greatest. I thought I was maybe going to catch a little bit of a 5 to 10 minute spike or something, and it ended up not being the case. So
Yeah,
no big
just
deal
went
though.
sideways on you there, didn't it? Well, I mean, obviously this is the XAU, but probably pretty similar, right?
Yeah,
What is the
relatively.
gold futures ticker?
/GC.
Oh, just GC. That's right. Oh, I'm on the indicators. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no wonder I'm on Forex. I'm like, why? Where's it at? There it is. Gold futures.
I do have to adjust my levels for the day. I need to adjust to what happened in this previous session here on both the NQ, the ES, the Dow. The ES. The ES and everything was just rip roaring today. And then we started grinding, just slow grinding to the upside. But the Nasdaq
Yeah,
definitely
that's
had
pretty
some
similar.
strength to it. It's starting to make me feel, as an investor for my like retirement stuff, it's starting to make me feel a little uneasy. Like I'm like, man, this is just better than I was expecting by a decent bit. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of start, people start getting a little wary and the markets, start to chill out a little bit more here. But
Yeah.
maybe that doesn't happen until the rate cut occurs or something. Who knows? Who knows? Honestly,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We're all counting down to the 17th, huh? Of September.
I know, which is kind of sad because it's like, man, like I want that day to come, but at the same time, I don't want just a month of my life gone.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
uh,
Yeah. So
look forward to it.
currently looking at the Fed Watch tool. We're sitting about 94% chance of that rate drop. So that's where we are currently.
Yeah.
So now we finally have a little bit of understanding, right? I mean, this one we had the other day, last week, that was kind of iffy because I think it had gotten pretty close. It closed the gap to where it was still favored to keep rates the same, but they had went all the way, like the 25-point drop had gotten pretty close. I mean, relative to where it was just like a week or two before that. Was it? I guess
Yeah.
it's old news now. So I was thinking,
Yeah.
it wouldn't surprise me. We'll see if Powell gives into the political pressure and just drops it right away. But he held his ground yet again. But yeah, I don't think he's got a choice this next time with the way it's being priced in percentage wise. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think I think you mentioned this before. Like when we were talking, it was probably like a week and a half ago, maybe. Or no, it was, or whenever the last meeting occurred, and there were like multiple votes by board members, looking for like a cut at this point, which hadn't really been the case. It was becoming more like, not, I guess, like more or closer to 50-50 in terms of the board members like thinking that a cut was a good idea, which we hadn't really
yeah,
seen. Like it was usually only like one person, maybe two tops, that were looking for a cut. But yeah, I agree. I think Powell is going to be forced to cut now for just a small 25 basis points, and then like we see in the chart in that Fed Watch tool, he'll revisit things in December, see if he needs to cut again. If not, I'm sure the market would go into a frenzy because they're expecting it. But whether it's to the upside or downside, I have no idea. But I'm sure after September, you're going to get a bunch of data that comes out between October and November, especially. I mean, it's not going to have that, the Black Friday sales data and stuff like baked into it at that
mm-hmm.
point. But depending on what that data then looks like, who knows? Who knows? Honestly, this next
Yep.
quarter to honestly the next 6 months. In 6 months' time from now, that's going to be a very interesting time. I think very pivotal point in our country's
Yep.
economy for sure.
Well, yeah, they
So
got 94%, obviously, like I said, for the next meeting. The October 29th meeting is a 61% to drop another 25. And then December 10th is 50% to drop another 25. So this is the first time I've seen it set up like that. They've got the remaining three meetings priced in to drop 25 each.
well, that's a change
That's
of
crazy.
tone because I remember
Yeah.
looking at it like 3 days ago or something, and it was only for the two still, and now it's three, which is
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, if we cut, I'll tell you what, man, if we cut three times this year, that's not good. I think. I don't think that
Yeah.
I think that's alluding to something not good, like to have to cut 75 basis points by the end of the year. So that's a
Yeah.
little worrying to be for me, as a longer term investor, not as a trader, as a longer term investor. I'm
Right.
talking about, but as a trader, I
Yeah.
mean, gives me
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the
That is
fun to play around.
right. Right. Yeah. And that's all I am. I mean, I'm not much of an investor, just more so the trader. So yeah, I mean, December is 50.8% for another, and then 40% to keep the same. So read into that what you
Mhm.
will. It's just like the weather; it'll probably change quite a bit between now and then. But yeah, they just updated that because I think I just looked a day or two ago myself, and it was nothing like that. But uh,
Yeah,
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 so here
right.
we go.
Yeah, yeah,
Here we
definitely.
go.
I
I
mean,
mean, well, when all the dust settled after the CPI, my gold. So gold got a slight bump up on my bullish rating. I think it was at a 7 or an 8 this morning. It bumped to a 9. Um, what else I got here? NASDAQ. So NASDAQ and S&P gained a point. Let's see, euro dollar. So I still got silver as a 6. Let's see. Bitcoin actually jumped onto my list. So Bitcoin is now a
Ooh.
5, a bullish fundamental score of a 5. And then the only other thing that changed was U.S. oil jumped onto my bearish screen, -5. So yeah, I did actually, before I went to bed this morning, I took a look at these new items. Bitcoin, yeah, Bitcoin, nothing's really changed. I mean, I'm just trying to avoid this chop zone that we had further back. But I mean, if I were to go on a smaller time frame, let's see here, try to 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything that area there. I mean, basing candles is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's too many candles for me. Yeah, still not. I mean, I drew up that trend line, but just nothing really in this immediate area. I think I'm still going to wait on Bitcoin. I was going to see if I could squeeze into a smaller time frame, but I mean, that's a really nice spike up from this point, but it's just too much sideways action, to the left. Again,
Yeah.
when it comes to the zones I like them to be kind of out on their own, out on an island, so to speak, to where you look to the left and there's not a ton of action, relatively recent, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
just kind of the way I look at it. That's why I was keeping an eye on this zone over here, because you look to the left, there's nothing, right?
Yeah.
From this point. I mean, you got this point down here, but that's really the bottom of or the distal point of my demand zone. So that's what I like to see. These are what I see as the best zones, whether it's supply or demand zone. But if it's further down, if you look to the left and there's a lot of congestion, it's just not as good, because the reason for that is because if it's been in that area for a while, chances are most of, if not all of those unfilled orders have been taken already.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get a price that moves like that, it moves to a price point and stays there for a short while. Well, that's where a lot of unfilled orders are left behind. So yeah, I just don't like anything in this area because of that chop we had. I mean, we did have a week, but from this point to that former chop area, but I just like to see a little more time space, basically. So yeah,
Yeah.
nothing's really changed on Bitcoin. Still keeping an eye on this 12-hour zone, 2-hour zone within that 12-hour further down. Yeah, still quite a ways away on that. Obviously, everybody's watching the 100K zone all the way here at the bottom. If and when we ever get a price return back down to this area,
Right.
that's actually my favorite. But
Yeah.
and then what else I got here?
I
Yeah,
will
so the
tell you,
U.S.
Tiger,
oil. What's
real
that?
quick, real quick.
Yeah.
I do want to like, this is just for fun. Um, I did do something today, this afternoon, that I've never done
What'd you
before in
do?
my life. I, for the first time ever, I purchased cryptocurrency. I had
Yeah.
a I have a like I opened up a Robinhood account because I never have messed around with the broker before, and I just knew that you could get crypto through that. Um, so,
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, I'm officially a buyer of crypto. So that's a weird one. That was a weird one. I mean, I literally only put like $40, and
Yeah.
it was it was XRP. I literally bought $40 worth. But I think that's for everybody to know that we're now at the top, my friends. Now that I've bought in, we're at the top. So,
Well, welcome to the dark side, as they say.
oh man, too good, too
Yeah,
good.
I don't own any, but I do. I mean, I do own a little bit of the HODL, which is kind of the Bitcoin trust. I bought into this a while. I mean, way back here actually. So it's actually spiked pretty good. I think it was around the $15
Nice.
mark when I bought into it. But yeah, it's pretty much doubled that. But it's not a whole lot of money. Just so I could say the
Yeah.
same thing, Paul. That's pretty much why. Like, okay, I'm now an investor in Bitcoin or crypto.
So like,
But
So HODL, yeah, HODL is like a ETF for Bitcoin. Is that what it is?
yeah,
I think. Okay.
uh,
I'm learning
yeah,
these things ever
I
so
think so.
slowly.
Yeah, and I don't even know all
It's
the details. I think that was the first or one of the first. Yeah, one of the first ETFs. I think that's the right word. I'm not sure. That one of the financial institutions added as an investment asset,
right.
a way to invest into it. So I don't know all the details. The other Paul would know a lot more about that than I or you, I guess.
Yeah. Oh,
I won't be.
oh, that is for sure, man. I
Yeah,
should get on the stream tomorrow morning and ask a few questions and just
yeah,
in the chat. Honestly, I think I might do that. But
yeah. He'll have the answer to that.
yeah,
But yeah,
for
it's
sure.
funny. So I mentioned oil jumping onto my bearish list. Um, Coach Michael, he's always running analysis on oil along with all the forex pairs as well, and we've kind of designated that U.S. oil for the way he trades as kind of his naughty stepchild. So he always finds the setups, but they never work out for oil. And
Yeah.
I kind of see the same thing. I mean, like I'm looking at if you had to point a gun to my head and I had to get into it, I'd be getting in on this 4 hours supply up here. But I
Okay.
don't. I just haven't. I mean, I'm still fairly new to oil, to be quite honest. I've only been really paying attention to it for probably 4, 5, 6 months, and I've yet to get into a trade too, just because I haven't seen the setups. Um,
Mhm.
I mean that's it. This is hideous price action. You got a low point, you got a high point, you got price just diddling in the middle. Like, how do you pick a trend from that? Well, it
Right.
helps to have the fundamentals, but at the same time, I still haven't seen a setup either. So I think the way I trade with supply and demand, I've yet to find any real good spots to get in either. So yeah, it's just got a mind of its own. I think. Of course,
Yeah.
OPEC
I mean,
move
yeah.
it around a lot.
They're they pop up every once in a while, but like I missed one last week. I think I told you about it. I missed it so badly, and
Yeah.
I genuinely am. I blame myself entirely for just forgetting to pay attention to it after having multiple times told myself, "Hey, you should pay attention to crude when it gets down to this level." But
Mm-hmm.
that $65 level, that was the level that was the level to do anything, whether it was to get long as soon as it dipped to 65 for the quick little scalp upwards for the day, or for when it broke through 65 to then retest it as resistance to get short. That was it
Mm-hmm.
for me. That would have been, either one of them would have worked out really well, and I missed them. So I'm not doing anything in crude until something else that is
Yeah.
just as clear as that pops up for me. So uh, but yeah.
But yeah, and then also CAD Jap Canada Japanese yen was another one that had popped on this morning. Now it had since fallen off. I just realized, but it was on there for up until I went to bed. Where did CAD Jap fall all the way to? I didn't realize it had fallen off already. CAD Jap. Oh wow, it fell all the way to a 1. So it moved up to a 5 this morning, but dropped to a 1. So it's neutral now. But yeah, that's the only one that I had an alert hit today. And just I was looking at it on a 15-minute demand zone here. 1 minute or 1 hour trend up, 4 hour curve. So it's always low point to high point on the curve on the higher time frame.
Hmm.
So I just wrapped that there to there. Basically, I have permission to buy in the bottom 33%. Right, that's low on the curve. That means low. That means cheap, lower on the value curve. And then obviously,
Yeah.
if you're selling short selling, you'd want to short in the top 33%. So that's that example of the Hungarian flag I always pull out, but it's just quicker to do it with my trend based fib extension. So I
Hmm.
use it for that. But anyway, yeah, that was the only one that had hit. Um, and yeah, of course, it hits after I go to sleep. So missed out on that. When I woke up, it was already up here, but it kind of retraced, came down. So it looks like it still wants to work out, but yeah. I wasn't too excited about it because it just popped on the screen and it was just a 5. So I wouldn't. It's not like it was a 10 or a 12. Something real high, real bullish. I mean,
Right.
it's a bullish score at 5. It's a bullish score at 6. I just like the best. I just like the strongest. I mean, give me an 8, give me a 9, give me a 10. Whether it's bullish or -8, -9, -10 on the bear side. That's really where I pay attention the most. So I'm even more picky than my algorithm is. In other words. But even so, I mean, even so, it's still already at 2-1. So it would have been a good spot to get in. But again, it's already dropped down now to neutral. So, but yeah, other than that, obviously I had the Bitcoin, already went over. Pound
I
Aussie.
did
Let
just
me
get
see that one.
short. I will just real quickly say I got short the
Yeah.
MES. I just got short 3 contracts, so I'm short right now at 64, 64.50 on the ES at the moment. 3 MES
Okay.
contracts, and I told the they updated it. Cool. So yep, short, and I'm looking
That's
for a pull into the what area was it, Paul? 64.55. Would love for it to get, well, 64.56 is where I would be getting out. Um, I have my
MES.
target right. Yeah, the ME, the micros. So yeah, I'm looking to get out somewhere on the 64.57, 64.56 area. That's where a lot of the liquidity is. But I will say that real quickly, I will say the point of control from this past regular trading hour session is at 64.61, and there was some decent support there. So if it starts getting a little weird at that area where I start seeing bids come in, I might just get out and take my little gain there, take my little $50 and dash.
Cool.
So that's what I have to do.
Dash. All right. Yeah, I'll just blitz through these real quick and then we could take a look at your screen. Pound Aussie. So yeah, this was my other. This one popped on my screener this morning as well, so it moved to a 5. So I'm just kind of looking at this. Yeah, I was looking at the 4 hour on this as well. We do got a little bit of a demand down in this area. Pretty decent pop up, kind of based, kept going. So we'll keep an eye on this. This is probably one of my least favorite alerts I have set,
Mhm.
but it's an alert nevertheless for a bullish item. So we're keeping an eye on that zone there. It's really a lot of junk to the left. But the other thing is, this is a relatively brand new demand, relatively brand new, kind of uptrend. It's still kind of forming. I mean, we did get the higher high here. We haven't really established much of a higher low yet. So,
Mhm.
I would almost be jumping the gun, to be quite honest, if I got into this and assuming that this would be a higher low because we've already got the higher high. So, yeah, for that reason alone, I may just when it comes to trend reversal trades like this, I've got to see a ton of volume hit, like 3 times the previous, couple bars or so, for me to be interested because it is. I'd be jumping the gun because we haven't had the higher lows yet, right? So, on a daily time frame. Now, obviously, on a 4 hour, hourly, it's going to be different, but because I'm using a 4 hour demand zone, I need to find my trend on the daily on a higher time frame. So yeah, you look at it
Mhm.
on a daily, it's just not quite there yet. So I'm just gonna be careful on it. But again, I set alerts for a lot of zones that I probably won't trade, but I just like to study and learn just to see how they react. And again, every now
Yeah.
and then I'll get a really volume spike and may jump into one. So it work out sometimes. So but that's
Yeah.
essentially what the big banks are doing, right? They're picking bottoms. They're accumulate before the trend up goes. So that's essentially how I would be treating this if I got into that. But we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it.
Mhm. For
The
sure.
euro dollar is still on my list here. Let's see. Yeah, keeping an eye on this zone clear here at the bottom. Still, it's a 30-minute. Um, yeah, I think that's one of my. Yeah, so that's a score of a 7. So that's a stronger bullish, sentiment.
Mhm.
Uh, so if I'm looking at a 30-minute demand zone, and I've got these here as well, so I'm going to keep an eye on them, but they're just a little higher on the curve than I like. So if I'm looking at a 30-minute demand, well, I need to be finding my trend on a 4-hour or 2-hour. Well, uh, I mean, it's clearly in the uptrend, but yeah, I don't know. It would kind of have to make a downward trend in order to get down there, right? Unless it just did a big spike, which you're asking a lot of 150, 150 pip drop just to touch his own. So, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. This thing kind of turned the corner. It kind of made lower lows after this big uptrend, but I don't think it's quite figured out what it wants to do yet. Just looking at it on a technical level. I mean, uptrend, we had a lower high, we had a lower low. It's technically in a downtrend, when you're looking at it on a daily. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm gonna ignore this too. Now that I noticed that. So basically, if I'm going to be interested in buying into the euro dollar, I need to see price come back up and close above these highs, and then come down and find a demand zone to buy. Now that I look at that, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this alert. Now that I look at this a little in depth, because it's just technically not what I need to be seeing if I'm buying into this. I need to see some higher highs. So
Yeah.
glad I noticed that. Okay, so that was euro dollar. So now I've already looked at euro Aussie S&P. So S&P is still giving me a bullish score of a 7. So we got uptrend. That's good. And then yeah, I'm kind of keeping an eye on this little demand here. Not the greatest volume again. Sometimes I get sharp spikes anyway in volume, but if not, no big deal. I'll just wait for this zone a little deeper. If
Yeah.
I'm looking on a Forex. Now, if I go to a smaller time frame, well, got one here, which is obviously before the CPI reports came out. I might keep an eye on that. So that's a 1-hour demand. 4-hour, we got an uptrend. Where am I at on the curve, though? That might be the deciding factor on this. Yeah, so a little high on the curve. So this is more retail price. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Need my fib based deal. So there we go. So we're a little higher on the curve, right?
Mm.
So 4 hour looking at this demand here. Yeah, see that's high on the curve. See it's in the top 33%. So it's probably a no. Probably going to ignore that. Not only that, but it's got a lot of action to the left of it, wicks and everything. Just kind of a hideous mess. I just need a deeper retracement on that.
Mm.
Now, this would be diddling in the middle, right? Be in the red zone. So probably going to ignore that. Probably just stick with this 4 hour down here. That's probably going to be my new point of interest. So I'm going to move my alert down here. Yeah, and again, for anybody watching, curve analysis is something that I don't think I did the greatest job of explaining early on with when I got started coaching on here. But I just realized a while back I wasn't really bringing that in to the videos. It's just one of those things. We automatically know what we know and we do what we do for years, and I just didn't think about it. So I'm starting to introduce that alongside my supply and demand, alongside my master pattern. So something I should have been doing this whole time, but better late than never. I just forgot all
Yeah.
about it just because it's just natural in my head to just point, my eyeballs straight to those zones. So yeah, just to throw another
Yeah.
wrinkle into what everybody's doing. But yeah, anytime you're buying low on the curve, it's just a higher probability for price working out to your favor. It just really is.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it's hard to argue against at the moment on the ES, the Nasdaq, the Dow. Really, if there's any sort of pullback into any kind of nice area of previous comfort or support, as some say, or value, or whatever you want to call it. It's hard to not look to buy the dip at the moment. It, I mean, it's just kind of like we were saying, like, trend is your friend. Uh, the momentum, the massive amount of momentum right now to the upside is just significant. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
and
and
I'm going to be hard pressed to be looking bearish on any given day unless there's something in the if, like, unless we gap down or anything like that, like we form some sort of distribution in the auction in, like, the regular trading hours that shows a little bit more of a negative bias. But yeah, so I'm with you.
so, and just to clarify, because I'm pretty sure I pointed this out last week when I explained this on the morning session, but so what I just showed is the higher time frame, right? Now, what I just did with the curve analysis can be done on any time frame. So, if you wanted to go for the smaller time frames, as always, this works in all time frames. I would just simply look at my curve. If I want to buy on a 15-minute time frame, get my trend on a 1 hour, get my curve analysis on a 4 hour. So I would essentially just move to, well, let me just redo it. I'd just be looking to this demand zone here and going to the origin of that. So right
Mhm.
here, I would just simply move my curve to this like that. Obviously, trend is up, and then go to a demand zone on a 15. So same thing here. And then from here, we could even go down to a 10 or a 5, because that's probably where we'll find a zone at the bottom of this. Yeah. So basically, this area, it's not the sexiest looking demand zone, but it, by definition, is still a demand zone. If you're looking at this, lower on the curve, right? So as
Mhm.
always, because I know we have a lot of short-term traders on here, and that's great. That's how. I mean, there's you can make money on any time frame. I just personally, with supply and demand, have found that the higher the time frame, the better. So that's why I always lead off with the higher time frames. But I've also had success on the smaller time frames. I just don't. I just like to. I just personally like to relax a little more, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's why I like the higher time frames. But again, the same rings true. It's just lower probability. That's all I'm saying. So it's
Mhm.
just obviously something where you want to be careful with the risk. Like I'm not going to risk near as much on a 5 or 15 minute supply or demand zone as I would on a 1 hour or a 4 hour supply or demand zone. So just so that everybody's understanding that, anybody watching. Um,
Yep.
yeah, you just got to be a little more careful with the risk reward on the smaller time frames, but nothing wrong with it. I mean, this is how I learned. I actually learned on the 5 and the 15 minute, right?
Yeah.
I just personally had more success on the 4 hour. So that's just why I always lead off with that. But anyway, that's S&P,
Uh,
and we
we
already went.
we could, if you don't mind, I could do an update on
We're
my
going over
trade
yours.
at the moment,
Yeah, yeah.
real
Let's do that. I want
quick.
to see what you got.
I'll have my screen shared here in a second, but
Hey,
kind of go through the rundown of my trade here.
get the
So
juice, the
I'm
secret
short at
sauce.
64.50 at the moment. Uh, both or all the Nasdaq, the Dow, and the S&P 500 are all, like, trading in the same sort of way. They're all together right now, which I love seeing personally. I love it when the Nasdaq and the Dow aren't diverging from each other, and you just start seeing, like, the Dow, the Nasdaq, and the S&P just all come together and go in a direction. It gives me the most
Mm-hmm.
confluence in a trade when I start seeing that kind of stuff happen. Um, so that's what's occurring right now in the overnight. But the interesting thing is this a larger volume that we saw, um, between, you know 7:45 p.m. and like 8 7:45 to like 8:15 p.m. Eastern.
Mm.
We saw some larger buyers, and especially larger buyers closer to the top here at 64.71, 64.72, which really, when I'm looking at the order flow, is helped me decide to get short. Like as soon as I started seeing this like little curl over here, and we started breaking down, I was like, you know what, I need to get short here. This just kind of looks like all the buying, like the buyers are exhausted, and now just little bits of selling pressure are coming in and pushing the market down, and the point of control, and we might just start seeing, a push down to point of control of yesterday, and then maybe on the ES, and then maybe after that down to this liquidity area that I see at 64.55 right down here, which so happens to be, if I mark it out, 64.55 so happens to be an area where when we were trending up, we came back down, and we kind of used that as a support area of sorts on the 5 minute chart here in consolidation before continuing the upward move. So that would be the ultimate goal, is to get down to like this 64.57 area, get out right before it kind of gets to that area. But this looks like it's going to be a slow mover. We are almost, my original risk was $48 on these 3 micros. We're almost at a 1-to-1 there. All the EMAs are trending downwards on both the 1 minute and the 5 minute on all 3 indices, giving me a little bit more
Nice.
comfort in the trend and momentum.
The
So
confluence.
yeah, so I would prefer this kind of just in the next like 20 minutes or so, really. I mean, obviously the sooner the better, but in the next like 10 to 20 minutes, I would like to see this dip occur. I don't want to hold on to it for literally the next hour and 20 minutes. Of course, I would prefer to get my money quicker, but um,
Yeah.
the volume has relatively picked up to the sell side. So the Dow is actually coming up here. I can pull up the Dow real quick. So what I'm looking at on different screens right now is where the Dow is at, where the Nasdaq is at, and the S&P 500, and whatever respective levels each of them are dealing with at the moment. And you can tell right where the Dow is where we saw some support in the afternoon. There is support right here. I mean, that is as easy, that is clear as day to point
Yeah.
out with just a quick little horizontal line. The 54 or 44, 510 area. We bounced, we broke above, well, we treated it as resistance in the early morning at around 10:20, 10:30, dropped down, then broke through it, and then essentially treated it as support once, twice, 3 times
Three
in a big
times. Yeah.
way, and stayed above. And now in the overnight, we've gotten exhausted on higher volume here, closer to the highs of day in the Dow, and we've now come back down to that point. I would really, really like to see the Dow break through this. If the Dow breaks through this, it might help out the S&P 500 even more than the Nasdaq. Whatever the big names are in the Dow, like Nvidia, Microsoft, whatever, maybe they are the ones that end up, in the overnight session, maybe like the ideas of those stocks help the maybe trading down, help the Dow futures trade down, which then also would help the Nasdaq, of course, as well, because Nvidia and Microsoft are part of them. So uh, that kind of overall confluence, would love to see it break this level here, drop the S&P fairly quickly, and just get this trade done with. Because I'll tell you one thing. I like it when short trades play faster. I understand long trades being a
Yeah.
little bit of a longer time frame at times, but shorts a lot of the time mean like when the market's going bearish, as we know, that means more volatility, which means sharper moves. So
Right.
being short in the overnight and it being this slow, grindy process is not natural for me to to look for. But as long as it does the job, I can't complain too much. But
Fear,
uh,
fear is
yeah,
faster than greed, right? Um,
yep. And then
yeah,
real
no,
quick,
I'm the same. I'm this. I mean, I'm the same, regardless of which time frame I'm buying into supply or demand on. I mean, if I'm right, I want to be right away. If I'm wrong, I want to be wrong right away. Like, if I'm on a
yeah,
4 hour or a 1 hour zone buy, yeah, I want to know within that first hour or two if I'm wrong. I don't want to know 24 hours later I have a stop loss hit, right? It's just the most annoying thing because it's easier to take. It's like, okay, I stayed in this losing trade for 24 hours, 48 hours. I could have been spending my time focused on another, if I'm in the euro pound as an example, I could have been finding another euro dollar trade or another British pound trade. But instead, I wasted
hmm
24 to 48 hours on it. So, no, I like to be wrong right away. Show me
yeah.
I'm wrong within that first hour, and I'll be happy, super happy.
I'm right there with you, man. I mean,
Hour or two, yeah.
and the last piece of this on the Nasdaq here. I mean, you can see on the 5 minute. Um, this is just a super slow grind down here, but on the 1 minute we have the nine. So I have like the 9 period, the 21, and the 50 shown yellow, red, blue, respectively. It is
Mm-hmm.
tightly following the 9 and the 21. So we'd like to keep it following the 21s, really, is what I care about more. I want it to keep following that 21. Just let the
Mm-hmm.
21 act as resistance all the way down to where we need to get to on the S&P. I do see the Dow right now. So like the Nasdaq was doing what it needed to do, but look, the Dow just slightly jumped up here a little bit. You can see its last uh, executed price was 44,514. So up
Yeah.
there we go. Let's go. All right. So that jump up there though that it had a a 3 tick uh, move to the upside on like effect on the S&P 500. Like the Nasdaq wasn't really doing much, was still going downwards, but the that quick jump in the Dow proved to be something of confluence with the S&P 500 more than anything. So it's an interesting dynamic for sure, but we just need to hold below this 21 period as well on the Dow, I think, and really break through this 44, 5, 10 area. God, I would love to see just a quick 10-point candle down. That would be
Yeah.
beautiful, honestly. But
So, how did you ever like? What was the influence on using the 9, the 21, and the 50? Just where that come
so
from
the
historically for?
20 the 21 the 9 and the 21 are very historically known to be like used in the futures markets. Um, especially like the 9, like it's usually the 9 and the 20, or like the not people use like the 9 and the 18, the 9 and the 20, the 9 or the 8 and the 21, the 9, something around that kind of that area for shorter term like for shorter term trend analysis.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 50 period, I just myself have always looked at the 50 period as a very nice air, like the 21 period and the 9 period are nice for super tight trends and everything, but I found like through my own observation that the 50 period would would act as resistance or support many times when there was a little bit deeper of a pullback on whatever time frame I'm looking at. So
Yeah.
a lot of the times what I'll see is if like I see a tight trend on the 21 and it's been happening for a good bit, I don't mind like executing a trade close to the 21 period EMA in a trending market. But if I see that, price tends to like to respect the 21, but then every once in a while it goes to the 50 and then it continues its trend, I'll usually wait until I get another chance at the 50 instead of the 21 for execution purposes to get into a trade on the
Mm-hmm.
trend. So
Okay.
that's just kind of the thought, is like it's like a little bit an understanding of maybe where like retail traders and whatnot, and even bigger bigger players are kind of looking for a little bit more of a pullback, but to stay in trend.
Yeah,
So
punched
yeah,
it nicely on your above your stop loss there. Looks like respected it there.
yeah, and where my stop loss was before was actually at the 64-67 area. I was right above that where we had
Mm.
respected that 50 period.
Mm.
That was the first time that we respected the 50 period on this downtrend. So, all right, come on, ES, come on. Well, come on, Dow and Nasdaq, please continue to respect this 21 period. This is at the point where we did get 1-to-1, and our break even is that's weird. Move
RESPECT. Find out what
my
happens
stop.
to.
Okay, for some reason my platform kind of just like froze or something. Like my stops aren't moving or anything.
Uh-oh.
That's odd. Not good.
Eh,
Well,
that's weird. You gotta reset it
uh,
or something.
I don't know. Uh, okay, it all okay. Jeez, Louise, dude, that was crazy. Like that was a glitch in the matrix or something. There, it all is now back in good order. But jeez, Louise,
Oh,
man.
okay.
Okay, here.
Yeah, I was watching you guys the other day, and it looked like all your platforms went down for a few minutes.
Yeah, that was odd. That was an odd one. That was a first for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, thankfully it was like within 10 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Everything everything was okay, and we were all good. But none of us were in like any positions to where we were,
Yeah.
caught, and somebody didn't have a stop loss or whatever in place. So it was all fine.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, Top Dog is in the chat. Sup, Coach Paul. Sup, Coach Curry.
What's going on,
uh,
Coach Curry? Yeah. I probably won't live that down, will I? We're wonderful, brother. We're
yeah,
living the dream. What can we say?
definitely.
Just digging through a little bit of quietness. Yeah, I don't like I was going through earlier. Top dog, I don't really have a whole lot going on. CPI kind of made things go up and down for a few minutes, but I'm still quite a ways away from all my alerts. And I don't really have anything in immediate areas, so
Mhm.
staying safe for now.
The
What do we got tomorrow?
I will say
Calendar.
on my trade that we have here, this is where I was talking to you about this. The 64-61 area is point of control of the previous day in the ES, or the previous trading range. Or, geez Louise, my brain isn't working. Regular trading session of yesterday, that was point of control. We basically got within a tick of it, 2 ticks of it, and we just bounced, and we're rivaling that 21 period EMA now to try and like break short-term trend. The Nasdaq did break and settled above its 21 period on the 1 minute, not on the 5 minutes. So this is an odd area. This could be where it bounces. It tries to bounce and not continue down to the liquidity that I was talking about. That is at the 55 level on the ES. I guess I should check out what the liquidity looks like on the NASDAQ down in that area.
What's going on, Crazy? Top dog passed his
Crazy.
first phase today. Atta boy. Atta boy.
Very nice.
And by the way, I'm getting a haircut on Friday, Top Dog, so I won't be looking like no Curry anymore. I'll be getting a haircut, getting the whole trim job, everything. So yeah, I got to look a little less hillbilly. Girlfriend said
That's
I have to get a
hillbilly.
Viking haircut, so might be a little Viking esque style. So
Oh,
probably won't be looking like Curry on next week.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, she's got her little Viking fetish, I guess. That's what she
Dude,
said. She wants the wedding to look like Viking style, like Viking clothing and apparel.
that's cool. That would be cool. I mean,
Yeah,
I've I say I don't know if you have ever been or you and your girlfriend have ever been, but go to Iceland, man. Go to Iceland.
yeah, I'd like to
Go
go.
to Iceland. You
I
should
got a
for
big
sure.
bucket list. You know, yeah,
Yeah.
get our passports and get out and do some stuff.
Those Iceland is like you want to talk about those people being
Reykjavik,
just
like Reykjavik
I
area.
mean, yeah, like I think the further away you get from Reykjavik, the more Vikingish you get. Like
Oh, okay,
it's like
gotcha.
the further you go into like farmland and stuff, and like you
Countryside,
really
yeah,
start, yeah, you start seeing the average size of these women and men, and they are just on average
yeah,
larger, like just built large people. So I mean, so
yeah.
nice though, extremely nice. Uh, Gentle giants, I would say. But yeah, it's a good time for
Yeah.
sure. I can give you
Oh, that's great.
recommendations too. I've literally driven around the entire country. I drove around the entire country in one trip, which was
I was gonna say
pretty.
that didn't take long, does it?
It takes longer than you think. It's actually
Oh,
pretty
really?
large. Yeah, it does take a little bit longer than you would think. Um,
Yeah.
but
Nice.
not doing it in like 10 days is is like doable. Let's just put it that way. Like,
Yeah.
and by
Gotcha.
that I mean like driving, stopping places to see, driving, like staying at a different Airbnb every day or whatever. And yeah, so
I gotcha. Yeah, I got a
yeah,
pretty big bucket list. I'm about to start living. Pretty
awesome.
big. Gotta get us a place, get a ring, get all that fun stuff.
Yes.
Get the papers signed, the T's crossed, the I's dotted, all that fun stuff. And
Yep.
start getting out
Yep.
there doing some.
Big- Those are the important ones. That's all the important stuff to get done first, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Can't wait.
I still think about that. I still think about that diamond that I purchased a few years back. It's still haunting my wallet, but it's all worth it.
Well, we can't take it with us when we go, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
My daddy always said, "You don't see a Wells Fargo trailing a hearse." So that's one way to look at it, right?
That is so true, though. It really
Yeah,
is true. It's
that's a Tennessee hillbilly thought for you right there. He had plenty of them.
I'm,
Yeah,
they're some of the best, though. They're some of the best. I mean, I love Tennessee, man. I love Tennessee, Kentucky. I just like that area a lot. Enjoy visiting that area once every year or two. I have family that are in the mountains of North Carolina and whatnot that me and my wife visit every so often, and it's just nice to get out there every once in a while, get away from the big city of Orlando.
yeah.
It's not even that big.
That's. I've been to Orlando once, or no, twice. I've been there twice. Yeah, I went there for a business conference a long time ago, and then we went there again when I was visiting a friend in Spring Hill, and we ended up driving to Orlando to go mess around for a little while. So yeah, it's a pretty nice little town. I thought it was really nice.
Yeah,
Let's see
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yo, Coach Paul, how much is max Al for Forex with Ola? Is that what max allocation? Is that what you mean, Top Dog?
Yeah, and I think since Tiger's the Forex guy, I think he would possibly,
Max.
because the different Forex accounts and the futures accounts do have different stipulations and whatnot to them, and I do trade solely the futures, but I can definitely look and
What do
figure
you?
that out.
Yeah, what do you mean max
I
allocation? Are you talking like the highest you can scale up to? How much? Oh yeah. So I think it's 4 million, isn't it? Let me look here.
that's a
Scaling up.
good
Yeah, scaling
question.
up to 4 million. It says. Wow, I didn't realize it was that high. To be honest with you.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if you go top dog, if you go to holaprime.com/Forex. In fact, I can just copy and paste it directly into the chat for you. But yeah, you just scroll all the way down to this link I'm about to send you, www.copy paste. Yeah, just click on that link and scroll down to your heart's content. And yeah, you'll see where did I just see that at? I just saw it right in front of me somewhere.
Mhm.
But yeah, just click on that link and it should show you. Oh, that's why, because it went to, yeah, holaprime.com/Forex. Isn't that what I was just looking at? Go back to the regular.
And I do believe that would be over multiple accounts, though, right? Like that up to 4 million. I think you would have to have. Well, I guess technically not, because if you pass like a, let's say you have a 300K, or I mean, it doesn't matter if you pass any account and then you
Oh,
can,
I'm
I guess,
sorry.
build your.
I gave you the wrong link. It's holaprime.com/scaling. That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Ah,
That's it. www.copy paste. There you go. I gave you the correct link, top dog. Yeah. If you
nice.
go to that, then you can, it's right there at the very top. Growth of
Yep.
50%, scaling up to 4 million. Wow, that's pretty generous. That's pretty good. A lot of other prop firms, I think, only go up to like 2 million, maybe. I think I've seen some 2.5 million. Wow. How
Mhm.
about that? Learn something about the company every day. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, and I will say I am a little bit, I like the Forex side of thing. Like I know the futures side of everything relatively well here at Ola, but the Forex side I do need to dive into a little bit more, because not only am I just generally interested in any of this stuff, but it's also just good to know,
Mm-hmm.
because I do want to be able to answer these kinds of questions and stuff. So glad that we
Yeah.
have you, Coach Tiger, here. You knew exactly what was going on, and uh, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
are you
and same with
are you
me.
main?
I mean, I've got a
Yeah.
couple of, I've got another account before all I'm about to get ready to get my own as well, because I'm ready to start playing around with it. Now that I got life settled with this whole nighttime thing.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm going to be getting ready to get my own Ola plan as well. Looks like we're giving away an account during this live session. So yeah, we got a little less than an hour. It looks like a 50K account. Let me see. Okay. So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys have not won, anybody that's on the stream, I'll just announce this real quick. It's a Forex account. It's a 50K Forex account. Just keep in mind, you've got to sign up, subscribe to Ola Prime TV, which is the stream you're on as we speak. Also, the Ola Prime Global. That's the channel, by the way, Ola Prime Global. Somebody was asking, I think earlier, or maybe that was this morning. That's where you go find traders that have passed their accounts, have gotten their first payout. So it's a really good thing to go and watch and see people that have actually passed their challenges are getting payouts. So that's where you can see that on Ola Prime Global. So go subscribe to both of those. Comment live on this session. Make sure your email is in the YouTube bio. That is the most important part. Um, as always, we're constantly having to sift and sort to find people's, accounts that have their email updated. So keep that in mind. Get that
Mhm.
updated. And yeah, we'll be picking somebody before the end. Okay.
Yep.
We have about 55 minutes left on that. So yeah, good stuff. Wasn't sure if we were doing that or not, but we got that word. So,
Love
and
it.
again, for people that this is for anybody that has not won yet. We're just trying to be fair about it and divvy it up and grow grow our team. This is our little army, our little team, right, Paul?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's just spreading the love, trying to spread the love, give as many people the opportunity to, participate in the prop firm world and, possibly change your life, become a trader and, can make some meaningful money in trading the markets. So, and we would love for you to do it with Hola Prime. So yeah, we're happy to give these away for sure. And and as I say all this, my trade is getting better and better here. I would love
It
for
is.
it to really keep coming down. We're halfway to the profit target at the moment. Um, it is really trying to like this 64-61 area. I told you, point of control. It's gotta if it's gonna get through here. I think it's gonna really try to get through here. I think some larger volume needs to come through in order to drop this down to the liquidity of 64.57. So come on, do it. You know you want to. Do I have to put the reverse alien spaceship
I was
in the
just
trade?
gonna say that. That's exactly what I was gonna say. You have to tip your spaceship upside down or put a magnet or something.
Come on.
That's the beauty of
Here
this
we
is you can invert and turn upside down everything.
Yeah. Where's that
Just want to trade. I'm fiending. I'm fiending. I haven't been in a trade for a day. I just want to come
you
out
know
and
what?
play.
I want to, you know what I'm going to do? And I'm going to change it up a little bit, ever so slightly here. Where is what I can't find anything. Jeez Louise. I'm blind. What the heck? There.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Please. Right into this
There you go.
fire goes the spaceship. I need the I need or I need the
Ah, yeah. There
I
you
need
go.
the I
Just got
need
to
the
get past that
rocket.
little. Get past
Here
that
we are.
little bottoming out point there to your left. 4 minutes, 4 hours. I just want to play. I just want to play. Told my girlfriend we're going to have to go do some karaoke soon. It's been a while since I've been out. I used to go to
It's
karaoke
always a
every
good
single week.
time.
Friday night, Saturday night. Yeah, I used to have a ball with it.
I need to be I need to be I need to be drinking a little bit to
Lubed
do
up.
that myself. That is probably one of my worst fears is being on stage in front of people with anything music related. I can, I don't mind dancing, but like, singing,
Yeah.
playing an instrument, anything like that, that is like a large fear of mine. I just, that is a rough
Ah,
one for me. I love watching karaoke though. I love that.
yeah.
But
Well, I actually, you hear about karaoke. You hear everybody say, "Not unless I'm trash. Not unless I'm drunk. Not unless I'm drinking." I'm the opposite. I I can't have any more than about 3 beers. If I have more than three, I can tell I'm starting to slur, and I won't do it. So I'll do it up until about my third or fourth. Yeah, so I can't
uh,
because I'm a perfectionist, and I've always been a singer, so I could tell like my voice, and whenever I'm getting a little too loose or sideways, I'm like, okay, I'm done. I don't want to sound
yeah,
like an
yeah.
idiot.
Well,
I
that's
did.
different. If you're actually a singer, I mean, that's a whole different story. Like, I'm
Yeah,
definitely not a singer. I'll tell you that much. But
yeah, I did a. They have a big festival here in Kansas called Country Stampede. They had a karaoke. It's like several thousand people. I don't know, 100, maybe 50, 60,000 the crowd, something like that. But they had a karaoke stage off to the side of it. like in between sessions, and I ended up getting up there singing. It was like you got 1,000 eyeballs watching. It could get kind of intense. Kind
Yeah, that is
of intense.
intense.
That was pretty cool. Japanese. Just nothing. Just nothing. I just don't have anything. I just don't have.
Did you hear us doing impressions the other day by chance? You might probably
Mm,
didn't. You probably got off
been
the
sleep.
other day when.
Friday
Yeah,
or Monday?
I don't.
Friday.
I don't even remember honestly. It might have actually been. It might have been yesterday.
I
I
was
can't
watching
even
you
keep my
guys' show
days
on
straight.
Friday. I watched part of your show on
Yeah,
Friday because that's when your trades went down. I think. I feel like
somebody got into like Trump stuff, or like Trump like impression or whatever, and then I did
nice.
mine. I did my impression, like the way you were kind of just doing the same kind of cadence, and it was a little
Yeah,
bit of a hit there. But the S and
that's
P
fun.
has got to go down. Got to get the S and P down into my target profit. Like you got to do the hands with the and I will, you know what, I'll have to come up with a little bit of a script in my brain in a second, but there's like a specific script. Shane Gillis does a really good Donald Trump impression, and it's the
Yep.
way in which he it's like the three sentences you put together. I told you the S&P was going to go short. Some people said that it wasn't going to go short, but guess what? It's going short. Like that kind of.
The Speaker of the House, actually, Mike Johnson, does a really good one of Trump as well. He's really good at it.
Yes, I love it.
Uh,
I love it.
he
And
seems so modest and quiet, but yet he comes out and does that. It's just like he's the last person I would have expected to do that. But no, he's great,
right,
hilarious.
right. Um, Top dog, yo, you ever look for diversions in key areas on the ES and NQ? Yeah, of course, for sure. I am actually always looking. I'm actually constantly scanning the NQ, the Dow, and the S&P for diversions, to try and get some sort of leading indicator on one of the other two. So if I
Yeah.
see the Nasdaq diverging from the ES and the Dow, and let's say it's the let's say the Nasdaq is shoot, hold on, I got to pay attention to my trade here real quick.
Uh, I,
Some stuff's
while you're looking at your trade, yeah, I think Coach Richard on my morning stream does that. He looks for that divergence between. Yeah, I think it's the Nasdaq S&P
yeah, and
because
okay, so
over there.
yeah, we're good now. We're good. But yeah, so like whenever I see, let's say the Dow or let's say the Nasdaq is tumbling, but the S&P and or like the Dow or sorry, let's say the Nasdaq is tumbling and the Dow and the S&P are just grinding higher. I'll look for the Nasdaq to maybe base out and then like let's say it looks like it's trying to develop like a reversal of some sort, and when I see that happening, then I actually get long, like I'll get long the ES or the Dow depending on if it's chilling above an area of like value. Like let's say the ES and the Dow are trading currently above the previous session's value area high, and it's like but it's acting as support right above the value area high price. I will then get long the ES with the thought of the NASDAQ reversing and giving extra juice to both, let's say, the Dow and the ES. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that's kind of my thought. I just got stopped out of the trade there, unfortunately. $24. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
It's didn't
Well,
end up
speaking of
following my little rocket ships.
yeah, well, it had a very precarious shape, so maybe it got scared of that.
Yeah. And funny enough, it reversed right off of point of control. Uh,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have been greedy. I shouldn't have looked for that further target at the 55 area for the purpose of liquidity. I shouldn't have been greedy. I should have just followed the market profile more and gotten out with my $50 there, but not a big deal. Still a great green trade.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And speaking of chilling, we did have the question what today's market vibe is. What's today's market vibe? Netflix and chill. Nothing moving. That seems to be the tied with waiting for the breakout, 38%. Or did you fall asleep watching the chart? Hey, that was me. That was me. Or the one that got 0% magic made my profits disappear. That's funny. Yeah, no, that was me. Fell asleep watching the chart. I mean, that's literally how I do it every morning. After I get off my stream, I'll watch the other Paul, Coach James, for a little bit. I'll usually be pretty dead tired by that point. I usually try to watch part of you guys' show, and then it just seems like lately I haven't had any of my alerts hit. They seem to want to hit when I'm asleep during the New York session. It's crazy.
right.
I just need to turn into a vampire. Just make it permanent so that I can see all three of the streams, all three of the sessions. Probably not advisable. My girlfriend won't like it. But
Yeah, man.
but yeah,
You got a tough schedule for sure. It's a tough one. That's just kind of like, people like in the healthcare industry that do like nighttime shifts and stuff. Power to you, honestly, to be able to live that nocturnal life for the sake of the job.
well, I really like the company. I mean, I love doing what I'm doing. I mean, even though I'm probably one of the least active among the coaches as far as amounts of trades I take. Um, I I hope that what I bring to everybody is the patient side of things because, like, it's easy for like the way you guys trade. You get into a lot of different trades throughout your session. Um, I show a lot of patience because I've been there and done that on the way I trade. Right? Obviously, my way of trading is different. So, but yeah, I show a lot of patience, and I hope that that's one thing I can teach people is just the patient side of things because I spend most of my days disqualifying zones. I'm looking for something bad. I am the biggest judger there is, right? When it comes to my zones.
Yeah.
So I've just seen thousands and thousands of zones at this point in my life, and I can figure out which ones typically aren't going to work and which ones typically are. Again, it's just probabilities. Nothing's guaranteed, but no, I love it. I shoot. I don't mind. I don't mind the schedule at all. Just for the love of the company and for the love of
Yeah.
the
Oh,
coaching.
yeah.
I'm having a time of my life, I'll tell you. And pretty well
Yes.
used to the schedule,
Yes. Same,
so
man.
it's not a big deal. Not a big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah. It's kind of just one of those weird things where you like wake up and it's maybe like you take your nap or whatever, but it's like the sun is starting to set maybe. And you're like, this is odd.
Yeah,
I
I don't
just
mind it.
slept while there's full sun. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's once you get used to it, it's all good. Like, you're in a rhythm
yeah, I'm
and
used to it. Yeah, pretty well used to it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Man, now the question is, do I want to now get long off of the thought of a possible reversal
Bouncing off your
from
50 there.
well, yeah, it broke through the 50 on the 1 minute, but on the 5 minute here, we only broke through the 9. Um, it's on decent volume, but or the bounce happened on very good volume. The little pullback occurred. You can see it on the 1 minute here. This small pullback happened on lesser volume, so it makes me think that this could be like a little bit of a support area to jump back up into the
Mhm.
64, 65 area. But at the same time, there's possible overhead resistance on some of the EMAs on the NASDAQ. So, and the Dow. So, and the ES on the
Yeah.
5 minute. So it's like there's a lot to get through. So I'm probably not going to go long. If it happens, it happens. But all I do know is that I don't want to re-enter short either. I'll take. I did my trade. It's done with. I think I'm just going to move on to
So
gold. I want to look at what
there you
gold's
go.
doing.
I got two questions for you, Paul. Number one, so do you bring Russell in at all? Does Russell 2000 factor in at all?
Uh, dude, I've been
That's
saying
question
it for
number
like the
one.
last two. I do not bring the Russell into any of this analysis, but I've been saying for the last like 2 weeks that I want to trade the Russell, um, and I forget about it. I just constantly am forgetting about it. Like I'm never
Yeah.
looking at it, and literally it'll be like 3:45 in the afternoon on a regular trading day, and I'll say to the other coaches, like, son of a gun, I forgot about the Russell again. I didn't look at it all day. And then I'll look at it and I'll be like, dang, there was some pretty good opportunity. Like, I just tend to forget it because I'm so focused on the major indices. But, if we were to
Yeah.
look at it right now, micro Russell, I'm just going to look at the micro. It also had that downtrend that all the other indices had, and but it actually started reversing sooner than the Dow, the ES, and it started reversing literally like an hour ago, which is funny. Is the Russell a leading indicator? Who knows? Come back
There
next
you
time
go.
when Paul dives into the analysis. No, I genuinely, that's it's funny because it did actually lead the major indices in terms of like the reversal there, but whether that actually means anything, I don't know. I haven't watched it nearly enough to know if it can be a leading indicator of any sort like that. It would be funny though if it is from time to time,
Yeah.
but do you look at it
Yeah.
a lot or no?
So my algorithm, my Edge Finder algorithm, actually tracks the data on it, just like it does the other three. But I just don't have it as an asset on any of my broker accounts I have. So I just don't have a
Okay.
way to trade it. But yeah, because it's not on. Let me just double check here. Yeah, US 30. Yeah. So it's just not available. So I need to figure out another broker. But anyway, yeah, that's more of in the back burner item to do. But and then the other question I had was how do you use VWAP? Because I noticed you got your VWAP on there. Or how
Oh
do
yeah.
you
How do I?
think?
What's funny is I really don't use it much anymore. I will use it. Uh, sorry, like I was just gonna say to real quick before I answer that.
Yeah, yeah,
We did Chabuzer talking about gold consolidating and like he was falling asleep. We actually talked about gold earlier and we were saying the same thing. Like today was just a bleh day for gold, honestly.
no,
Um, but yeah, so for VWAP, um, most of the time I just have it as an area of reference. Like for example, it's very specific. It'll be very specific situations. Like if the continuous VWAP is falling in line with, let's say, the 50 period, or it's falling in line with value area high or point of control or some other
hmm
major area, and I'm like, wow, that's interesting. Maybe that's added support because there are like hedge funds and whatnot that look at execution based off of VWAP and stuff like that. It's
yeah,
got some significance. Many people follow VWAP as an indicator, so kind of like that herd mentality. Things will come true if everybody kind of abides by a similar indicator. But what I'll usually look at it for is like, yeah, in combination with another level and not as like a pure, okay, it's coming up on VWAP. This is going to be resistance.
right,
Like, I don't look at it like that for the most part. What I do, the only time that I do look at it like that, I will say, and this is a little bit of the secret sauce from me. So, um, it's a very, very specific instance in which I use VWAP as like a resistance area specifically. is when you
Mm-hmm.
see an aggressive down move occur. Uh, this is just me though. Everybody's got to do their own back testing, and like this is just through my own observation of price action and whatnot. But many times I've observed that when you see a relatively volatile move to the downside through VWAP, and like you have a big candle that just VWAP isn't even a consideration for support. It just blows through it, just absolute annihilation. Big candle through it, and then you see the markets immediately buy it up, and by immediately buy up that candle, I mean like over the next 5 minutes, we retrace upwards, but you start to see volume dying out. When it gets to that VWAP, I usually look at VWAP as a resistance point there. So when it essentially has to be broken through massively with really hard volume to the downside, and then once you see that little bounce coming back up to VWAP, if volume is decelerating, that is a sign for me to get take a quick short, a small risk, like
All right.
maybe an X amount of points above VWAP. I get short for the curl back downwards. But this has to be a violent move, like, and I'm taught this is like a very specific setup that I'll look for on occasion. This setup doesn't come by too much any longer because the market's just been going to the upside. Like there's usually not a
Right.
ton of violent moves to the downside. It did become relevant again in April when we had that 20%
Yeah.
correction essentially within a month.
Liberation Day. Yeah.
But so
Yeah.
on times in times like that kind of setup, I'll see VWAP as more useful, and I usually use that as like an entry area for trades to the downside. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's a tiny bit of my secret sauce with what I use VWAP for specifically. But
Yeah, no, same thing. I mean, I don't. That's not the end all be all, but I definitely love it when it's bouncing through one of my zones. I'm looking to buy or sell off of. Just as that extra little confluence,
you know what I do like
or
using,
in or
I will
around.
say. I like the anchored VWAP from 8 p.m. the previous day. So if you look at 8 p.m. the previous day and you have VWAP anchored there,
Mm-hmm.
I do like that. I do like that kind of VWAP. I see a lot of the time VWAP acting as like support or resistance with that anchored VWAP. Like I said, it's also not an end all be all thing. It's just more confluence. But I do like the 8 p.m. Eastern time anchored VWAP. For some reason, it just seems to be pretty decent. So
Mm-hmm.
like right now in the overnight session, um, anchored from the the open essentially at uh, 6 p.m. VWAP was respected very nicely over the last hour and a half or 2 hours. It was touched 3 different times and acted as resistance. So like if anybody's trading price action purely based off of like that VWAP, I mean I don't blame you. You're 3 for 3 at the moment.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah.
Yeah. No, I like it like that too. I mean, I like it. I tend to go usually on a 4 hour or a daily. I'll just put it at like the swing lows and swing highs, and it's surprising. I mean, it's surprising how often it's respected when you bounce
Yeah.
back down
Yeah.
to like an hour, 4 hour even. So yeah, I I don't often use it, but I try to do it whenever I think about it. It's not like something you can just set and forget. It just you kind of always have to manually add it. So a lot of times I don't
Right.
think about it, but if I'm ever looking for just a little bit more of a reason to possibly not, throw away a zone, then I'll pop that on there just to
Yeah.
see,
Yeah.
hey, is this
And
VWAP in and around? Preferably, is it going through a zone, or is it at least a little bit above or a little bit below? Maybe we get a wick through all that. Yeah, so it's
yeah.
just kind of a nice
And
little attitude.
Crazy Z was like, so no one uses just market structure anymore. I think actually quite the opposite for for me and Coach Tiger and actually all the coaches here. I am like dependent on market structure, and by market
Yeah,
structure, I mean personally. For me, it's like
yeah,
the market profile, auction process. For Tiger, I would say I don't want to put words in your mouth, but relative supply and demand zones that you are able to point out.
accumulation,
Um,
distribution. Yeah,
mhm.
yeah, yeah. Because that's the
So
same with Coach Michael as well on the mornings. He's
yeah,
accumulation, distribution. We just have different ways of talking about it. That's the thing, for everybody that's curious or wondering about that. Supply and demand. That's just one way to use to look at accumulation distribution. Michael uses level one, level two moves, uh, W's and M's, right? And that's after a swing low, a swing high. So it's the same ideas of market structure. It's just a different way of doing it. It's my characteristics feel, they flow better with supply and demand. His characteristics flow better with the SMAs he uses. He uses like a 13, a 50, a 200, a 800, and then he also does some things with Bollinger Bands as far as his TDI indicator he uses. But at the end of the day, all that is a filter. For me, I use the master pattern, which is a basic usable way of looking at the Wyckoff theory. That's market structure.
mm,
That's accumulation, markup, distribution, decline. So it's just nothing more than filters. But at the end of the day, we care about the candles. The candles are
yeah,
why we get into the
yeah.
move. All the oscillator.
VWAP thing when I was talking, Chabuzer was like, "Secret sauce, is that an indicator or anything?" I don't know if he's like joking. I feel like he's joking, but
Yeah,
no, like I genuinely do not. Like, let me restate this. I genuinely, I like VWAP is a very small indicator that I have on the chart for reference. I do not make trades based off of VWAP. It's just an added small thing if it comes in confluence with any larger market structure thesis that I have based on value area for me personally, whether it's value area high, low, or point of control, wherever we're trading based on that market structure. If it for some reason comes in confluence with one of those areas, then cool. It gives me a tiny bit, maybe a 1%. But when I was saying the secret sauce for the VWAP, what I was saying was I only have one setup that I will solely get in a trade for because of
yeah,
VWAP. And it comes around very rarely at this point. So I'm never really looking for it. And when it does come around, I notice it immediately. And I would let obviously you guys know during the regular, like during the live trading session. But very rarely does it come about. It's more of a momentum play or a continuation of momentum to the downside. So,
yep,
yeah,
yep.
it's when I talk about secret sauce, I'm just joking. It's just me emphasizing and being funny. But yeah, so
Yeah, if you stripped everything away and I got one thing I got to keep, it'd just be the supply and demand by itself. That's it, which again is
yeah,
part of market structure. So, but listen, Coach Paul, looks like we get to give away an account, a 50K account. So,
beautiful.
yeah, so we're gonna probably, I don't know, I think we might have a graphic for that, or we just want to announce that. Just take a look here.
Yeah, let's make sure they got it. Up can go whenever. All right.
Oh, all right, perfect. Well, let's get a drum roll. Done.
Come on.
And the winner is Kraz.
Crazy Z.
Kraz. Crazy.
Congratulations.
Krazizi. I like Krazizi. It rolls off the tongue better. Krazizi. There you go,
I love
Kraz.
that.
Got a 50K account, Forex account. Keep an eye on your index, my friend, and our back end team will definitely send you some info to get that all set up. And yeah, just let us know. I think at this point we got most all of you, a lot of you have had these accounts. So yeah, just keep us in the loop. Let us know how you're doing from week to week. Hey, I've gained this much. Hey, I've lost this much. Hey, I've learned this. Hey, I have a question about that. Right. So just keep that in mind. We definitely, we're doing this show for you guys. So we just want to know how we can help. Right. And help you get better. It's just about getting 1% better each day. That's it. You don't have to worry about 10%, 25%, right? 1%.
Yeah.
Hey, I just learned
Yeah.
today that market structure works this way. Hey, this is what a VWAP does. Hey, this is what a
Mhm.
exponential moving average does. Just little things like that, because it's easy to
Yeah.
overwhelm yourself. Paralysis analysis, especially in charts and technicals and fundamentals, like what I do deep dives into. But if you just do one little thing each day, it's really all it takes, and it just adds up over time. So what do
There
you think
are
about that, Paul?
traders, and there are trade. It's what's funny is like we don't use VWAP too much necessarily as like a hardcore indicator of any sort to make trades off of, but there are traders that like that is their main thing. Like they see VWAP do something versus
Yeah,
whatever price action is occurring, let's say at a certain period of the day, and if it's doing one thing they'll get in long, if it does something else they'll get in short, and it's maybe the VWAP crosses over a certain SMA or something, or an SMA crosses over VWAP, or there are people that there are people that genuinely do trade purely. They don't go necessarily based off of like they don't have like some like large foundation of like a market structure of any sort. It's like there are successful traders that just use that VWAP with like maybe one other indicator or something, and they have something figured out to where they can get in on a quick scalp to the upside or downside based off of it. I'm not that
right.
trader, but there are plenty of people that use plenty of different strategies,
Yeah,
whether they're as simple or as simple as that or not, and they can make money. So it's all up to you. What works, for yourself, and but you also have to, put the effort in and make sure that whatever if you do use indicators or whatever your strategy is, you just got to make sure that the probabilities are relatively on your side to some degree through, you know, screen time, recording,
yeah.
journaling, screen time, all that good
All the
stuff.
cliche,
So it's
yeah,
yeah.
the
Exactly.
cliche, but they're so
But
true.
as long as your
Uh,
RR is on point, anything can work. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's we've made that we've made a couple of points on that before in the past. Like I've said it a couple of times. There's I read like a case study on a hedge fund that had like a 15 to 20% win rate, and they were like massively profitable. So
yeah,
it's just, can you, when you are losing 80 to 85% of the time, are those
cutting
wins
them.
the 15 to 20% of the time not only good enough, but can you handle the being wrong 85% of the time or so?
Yeah,
Like a lot of people's brains just can't handle that amount of wrong so consistently. Other people are like robots and they don't care how often they're wrong, as long as the 15% or 20% of the time that they're right is massive. They're good with it. So
yeah,
but I would say for most people, it's not comfortable to be wrong that often with your brain. You start to doubt yourself. You start to question things. You start to maybe add or subtract from your strategy. All of a sudden, all these variables start coming into play that alter your trading style, and you start to question things in a way that really takes away from how you should be trading to make sure the probabilities are on your side. And then all of a sudden, you just kind of spiral. So
yep.
that's a whole psychology thing. And here at Top Step, geez Louise, here at Hola Prime, we do have, Cheese Louise, man. I have we have some psychological um, coaches that just purely go based off of they will do a session based on psychology, and you can ask as many questions to them as you want, and they'll help you out. So the psychology part of it with being wrong is a lot more important than a lot of people think. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just looking at my other account, I got a 40%. There's a 40% win rate, right? That's that's not bad. I mean, it sounds bad, but imagine being a baseball player batting 400. That's doing all right, right? So
Mm.
the important thing is just make sure the winners are a little bigger than the losses, and then you'll be profitable overall. Um,
Mm.
I read a lot. I've read a lot of stories about traders that have been like what you said. Maybe they're as low as 15%, 20%, 30%, 40%. Some of the best traders in the world are 60%, 70%, but those are the unicorns, right? The bulk of them are down around the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. So that's not a bad stat. You're going to be wrong half the
Yeah.
time, and in my case, a little more than half the time. But when the important
Yeah.
thing is, and the hard thing to learn early on is when you lose a trade, cut that loss quick. I mean, cut it quick, and
Hmm.
just because you do have a winning trade, you see green, don't cut it early. Let that sucker run. It's so cliche, and you hear it nonstop, but when you finally get to that point, and it's just awesome because
Yeah.
you always are like, why the hell couldn't I have done this 5 years ago, 6 years ago? So
Dude,
simple.
it's so true. It is so true, man. So true. Oh gosh. Well, I will say, um, in the markets right now, gold is trying to get back to its. You can see here, gold is trying to get back to its overnight high at the moment. Well, yeah, it's overnight high here at 34.05, and so it's making a little bit of an up. It's actually following all the indices at the moment. The MNQ, the Dow,
Yeah,
the ES, everything is kind of in line with each other at the moment. But yeah, there's just not a whole lot going on here where I can really make any trades in this last 15 minutes. But we'll definitely answer any questions that you guys have or anything. Um, just ask away. If you have any products that you
yeah,
want us to look at, uh, yeah, we'll
yeah.
be
Well,
more than happy to.
yeah. Just let us know, like you said, like Coach Paul said, if anybody has any charts they want to see, anything about the calendar. I mean, I will just toss out that tomorrow. Oh, we did have Aussie wage price index while we were flapping our lips. By the way, so that came out. That's a red event. What do we have? Previous 0.9%. Forecast was 0.8%. Okay, so that was a little. So that was right on cue. So 0.8%. That came out at 9:30 your time, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Aussie. Let's see. Did that do anything? Let me go to Aussie dollar. Aussie dollar on the 1 minute. Uh, my math is horrible. 8:30. Okay. Yeah. So well, it didn't really move. Didn't really move Aussie dollar too much, I guess. So yeah, that wasn't like one of the bigger red folder events. It moved at 15 pips since 9:30. So that's not a big deal. But yeah, anyway, just moving on to tomorrow, Wednesday, 8:30 p.m. Got another Aussie report, and that'll be the employment change for the Aussie dollar and the unemployment rate
Mm-hmm.
for the Aussie dollar. So that's 8:30 Central, which is 9:30 New York time or Paul's time there. But employment change looks like previous number was 2,000, but they're forecasting 25,000. So that should be a good number for the Aussie dollar. And then the unemployment rate, previous number was 4.3%. It's projected to go down to 4.2%. So that's also a good number for the Aussie dollar. So assuming they hit their forecasted numbers, right? So that's it for tomorrow. There's nothing else. No other high impact, no middle impact reports. You do have some low impact, which doesn't really move. I mean, we'll have crude oil inventories tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. New York time for anybody trading oil. Um, and that's basically it. Yeah, I don't really see any other.
Yeah.
German's CPI number comes out at 1 a.m. Central Time, but that doesn't tend to move it a ton. So
Mm-hmm.
that's it. Crude oil inventories for anybody trading oil, and then otherwise 9:30 p.m. employment numbers. That's it. That's it for
I will
tomorrow.
be I will be looking at crude oil tomorrow to see if there's any like good scalp that I can make off of the inventory numbers
Mm-hmm.
that come out. I'm gonna try to look to trade that at some point if there is any sort of volatility. But if there isn't, it'll probably be a no go for me, honestly. But Chabuzer did ask about the US 30, so I'll look at the Dow real quick and kind of give you my thoughts on it. The Dow did not join the NASDAQ and the ES in breaking the all time highs today. It's been a little bit of a laggard. As far as what my thoughts are on it on a longer term time frame, I think I kind of went over this last night to some degree, but the trend is up, obviously. Um, and when you look at the daily chart here, for example, in this last upward movement we've had where we bottomed out, spiked up. Yeah, let me create this. All right, so the first bottom came in here. We then spiked up here, came down, made a higher low, made higher highs, higher low, basically a double top here, but then a higher low again, and then spiked up here. And now we kind of did a double top, and we're staying above this 50 period EMA, and we're holding above it. Um, could the same thing happen here? What we saw happen back in June, late June, where we break above, that previous double top and move higher. I think it could happen for sure. We would then be looking to retest like the 46,000 area, maybe, basically all time highs of sorts in the Dow to the upside. But I mean, I guess I'd just be looking for support off of this 50 period like we saw today. So the fact that we were supported off of the 50 period EMA here is bullish to me. And like I said, generally speaking, we're still in an uptrend. So, you know, I would be long biased until proven otherwise. If the market structure in the market profile starts to tell me something different, maybe like I said earlier, if we like gap down or something on a day,
Yeah.
maybe I'll look to start getting short. And especially if we close below the 50 period EMA with like some sort of force, we could look to revisit like the 42,000 level at some point. But I'm kind of on the bull side for the Dow at the moment. That is
Mm-hmm.
just my take. But yeah, good question, Chabuzer.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, it's sitting at a neutral rating as far as all the fundamentals. It is giving me a bullish. I mean, it is giving me a neutral score of a +2. So at least it's a plus, not a negative. Just need a couple of good things to go. But yeah, I'm the same. Overall, bullish. Just basically would need to see a little bit of a drop into a cheaper price point, cheaper demand zone. Maybe the 44,000 if you're looking at the Dow 30 CFD, or the future obviously would be a different price point. But yeah, as far as the CFD goes, the US 30, yeah, I'd be looking at the 44,000. I mean, that's actually a perfect level if you're looking at it on like a 1 hour time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got the psych number, the psych 44,000 right in the middle of that demand zone. So,
Mm.
damn, I'm actually
Yeah.
going to put an alert on it now that I look at it. Pretty decent area.
Yeah.
It's at
Yeah.
the bottom. It's at the bottom of the curve. If you're looking at the, well, it's kind of congested, but 4 hour time frame, bottom of the curve. But then you got the, yeah, okay. So yeah, this still looks good. Damn, I'm putting an alert there. How did I miss that? Well, I didn't. I missed it because it wasn't showing as a 5 or higher. But you know what? Sometimes a technical level looks so good, you just can't resist it. Maybe test it out, get into a little less, less risk type of thing, maybe half the risk. Yeah, that's the thing, Paul. Sometimes I'll get into some of these trades, even if it's not giving me a 5 or higher or a -5 or lower. I'll just put on less risk. Like the last Bitcoin trade that I profited on was like that. I mean, I think it was only giving me a neutral score of a 2, but it was on the positive side versus a -2. So I just put on less risk, and sure enough, I had a nice 3-1 or 4-1 trade on it. So that's really the thing, and that's something that, yeah, I guess I need to take that into account whenever I'm looking at technicals for people. Because I mean, yeah, the reality is I'll still take some of those trades. I just won't put on a full risk. Just maybe back off the risk a little bit, maybe half of it or
Yeah.
40%, something like that. So yeah. So thanks there, Chaboozer. Got that as an alert
Yeah.
now. Thanks to you.
And Top Dog and Crazy Z, if you guys have any questions, let us know for sure. We can, we have 8 minutes left. But I and Crazy Z with the account that you won today, I am curious as to what you are going to be trading, or what's your favorite stuff to trade. I feel like I asked you the other day, and I can't remember if I did ask you what your response was. Um, yeah, I just like to hear what other people are trading or what they favor or prefer to trade, and what are you going to be trading with your account. Would love to know, or anything you would like to explore in the 50K challenge account.
Yep.
Just
And
let us
maybe
know in
how
the
long some of you
comments.
guys have been trading. I'd be just interested to see, if you've been in this thing for a year, 5 years, 10 years, brand new. I'm
Mm,
definitely interested. That'll help us so that whenever we see questions in the future, we'll at least understand, kind of your experience level. That'd be good.
mm-hmm,
Good to let us know.
mm.
My
Likes to
12th birthday will be in January.
likes to trade gold. All right, cool. I'm getting into
Well,
gold a
most
little bit. I am
top
getting into
dog
gold a
6
little bit.
years. Yeah, I've really been getting into it a lot more the last year myself. Um, it was all Forex the first 7-8 years of my trading, but then I started getting into penny stocks. I'm actually about to reopen that account, just so you know.
Oh yeah.
Get just something to play with during the early part of the New York session. I mean, I had a lot of fun doing it. I did pretty well at it. I got to the point where I had to stop it because I was focused doing other things.
Yeah.
But I've also done a lot more studying on it. VWAP is really big in penny stock trading, by the way. So it's just a good filter,
Mm.
acts as a good filter. But
Okay. All right.
yeah, that's actually Paul, why I started using VWAP to begin with, was because of the penny stock trading and the way I was learning it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
then I just naturally thought, well, if it works like that in penny stocks, let's see what it does in Forex. See what it does on the indices and gold, silver, Bitcoin. So it's been working pretty well.
Right.
It's kind of
Right.
as a filter. Qualify or
Awesome.
disqualify.
You got
Chib
anything
for
on the
3 years.
charts anything you want to show on the charts before, in the last 5 minutes here?
Uh,
Anything?
let's pop on over. Back in. We'll take just a quick look. I did have just 2 or 3 other alerts set. So this is silver. So silver is giving me a bullish 6 score. Similar price action to gold overall, of late, I should say. Let me specify that. But, well, well, we were getting similar price action, but I guess it's kind of deviating a little bit. But anyway, yeah, for silver, I mean, I think I like the gold look better, but I mean, I do have a little bit of a demand further down here on this 1 hour time frame. I really like this demand zone because look at the VSA underneath. Really nice, big, expanded range. Red candles, the yellow candle, 3 times the size of these green candles. Green is, of course, average, average size candles. Blue is below average. Yellow is above average. And then red is, well, above, or extreme average, or high average, whatever you want to call it. So, yeah, anytime I see a demand zone or a supply zone that has the leg out candle that's that high of volume, then that's telling me that's a really strong zone. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 basing candles there. If I'm looking at on the 1 hour time frame here, kind of a down base up, or a drop base rally. And then obviously when you look at that on a 4 hour, it obviously looks like a different picture. But on the 4 hour, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we kind of have an extra candle than I like. I prefer 1 to 3 candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I guess we do have a couple extra candles. So I don't like the picture as much on a 4 hour time frame because of all the basing candles. And then that's obviously the leg in candle. So leg in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 basing candles, and then leg out. The picture just looks a lot better on a 1 hour. Again, because we got kind of this leg in, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 4 basing candles. So I might as well delete the 4 hour because I don't like the 4 hour now that I look at it a little deeper. But yeah, that's essentially that's pretty much what I'm looking at. It's kind of that whole zone right there on silver. There, that's more accurate. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So anyway, yeah, I got the strong volume coming out of it. So that's going to be my favorite spot to potentially buy if and when we get priced down here on silver.
Yeah.
So that's 36.5. That'll be my peak of interest for silver. Get down below all this sidewaysness, contraction on a daily. So you look at this on a daily, and this is where my master pattern comes in. It always puts a contraction box around where a price kind of went sideways. So it doesn't catch them all, but it catches most of them. But the basic idea is, when you see a contraction box, anywhere you buy underneath is undervalue. Anywhere you sell above that box is overvalue. So you want to sell above value, you want to buy undervalue. So then I just kind of stair step down to the smaller time frames to see where those master pattern contraction boxes are. And the basic idea is, I'll usually go down to like the 1 hour, the 30-minute, and then just make sure I'm buying undervalue. So clearly we got the value points up here. So yeah, buy undervalue. So that'd be the spot for silver. Dang, it's 9:59. I just realized. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't really have anything else. I already went over them, and nothing's really changed much as I've been peeking around.
Yeah, and Top Dog, we'll have to go. We'll have to check out Platinum, I guess, next session. If you're on during the day tomorrow, we'll definitely check it out for sure. But if not, maybe the coaches will check it out tomorrow night between Coach Darrell and Coach Tiger if you're on tomorrow night as well. So, but with that being said, fun session. I had a small little trade there, but not a whole lot. But it was still a good time, good talk, and thanks for everything, Coach Tiger. It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure for sure.
Yeah.
And
no, I appreciate it, man. Platinum is a 0 on my fundamentals list, just so you know. Sorry. Straight 0. Straight neutral. So
I'll look at it at some point.
Yeah, we'll dig into that tomorrow, Top Dog. All right. Sorry we
Yeah,
didn't see
man.
that to the last second, but yeah, everybody have a good one.
Yeah, have a
We'll
good
be
one. I'll
back.
see you Thursday, Coach Tiger. All right, and they'll be back
That's right.
tomorrow. Tomorrow, him and Coach Daryl. So, all
Yep.
right, have
We'll
a
be
good
back
one,
tomorrow.
brother.
You too. All right, man.
Hola Prime. Trade with transparency.